All right, guys. Welcome to the first episode of CoachCast. My name is Jackson, and this is Mike. We're two PTs out of Bondi Fitness First, and we're just decided to start a podcast together because we really get along, and we figured that we have a lot of good conversations, and we have a lot of productive, I guess, ideas that we think we could get out to people. And so we decided that we might as well just start recording it and, get our conversations out to people. We think it would be insightful and helpful to other people, and we hope that it can educate you guys somehow. You guys can maybe have a laugh with us and just, I guess, have some sort of input in our conversations, and get an insight of what it's like to be a PT and what we deal with on a daily basis and what we feel is important in our job. And so if you want, Mike, start off talking about yourself and why did you become a PT?
All right, so thanks for that introduction there, Jackson. As you can see, I'm going to take a quick sip of my Corona, guys. So, I became a PT roughly this time a year ago. Was always into fitness. Straight out of school, was like definitely going to become a PT. I managed to jump into the sales team, I believe at Parramatta Fitness First. And I fucking love that shit. Like, I just love being in the fitness industry, even though I wasn't actually training people.
Did you start at Parramatta?
I started at Parramatta.
How long?
3 months before my role was redundant.
What were you doing?
Just MC.
And it got made redundant?
Yeah, so Crunch Fitness, I remember they opened up right down the road, and Fitness First was like, we need to sell $6 memberships.
Really?
So we're going to replace you guys with iPads or receptionists, essentially, right?
Really? Oh, just so the audience knows that a $6 membership for Fitness First,
yes,
or
so
like anything that's like really cheap at Fitness First doesn't happen very often.
I'm sure gym goers know how expensive Fitness First is. So
yeah.
For $6, it was like, okay, we don't need you anymore.
Yeah.
And I remember the opportunity came up. It was either Auburn or Maroubra. I was like, I'm not fucking going to Auburn. Here's this.
You'll be selling more than memberships.
Oh, mate. I was selling everything under the sun over there in Auburn. And then I was like, okay, let's go to Maroubra. I got the job there. And I lasted there for about 3 years and tried to just basically progress up the ladder in Fitness First. Went to sales manager at like 20 years old. One of the youngest sales managers ever, which was pretty cool. And then I decided, you know what? Like, let's be honest. Like, I'm only fucking 20 years old. What am I doing trying to climb the ladder in Fitness First? Like, So I quit, went traveling, spent like 4 months in Europe, came back.
How was Europe?
We're going to have to need another episode for that one. There's some stories there. But eventually, when I came back, I fell into construction. And now this is where my story actually starts, right? I fell into construction for about 3 years and literally was trapped, like the definition of trapped. I didn't step foot in a gym for 2 years, 2.5 years. I would never say I was like overweight. If you see my Instagram, you see I wasn't overweight.
For those that don't know, Mikey is probably the best looking man in Bondi, as well as has a rig of a god. So
no rig.
What his definition of bad or average looking is everyone else's inspiration.
Yeah, I actually got that a couple of times. Like, I seen you before and after, and I was like, bro, like, you didn't look bad. We hold ourselves to higher standards, and I look like shit for me. And then eventually, my diet consisted of 2 to 3 donuts in the morning at 6 a.m., a nice coffee and a meat pie every single morning.
Not much has changed.
Nah, pretty similar. And then I wouldn't eat, no joke, from 7 till 6 o'clock at night. I wouldn't eat unless there was like a lunch truck come through.
Yeah. Then
the first thing I would do is where's the nearest Macca's or KFC, and that would be my dinner, Monday to Friday. Eventually, I was like, you know what, this is fucking shit. Applied for a job at Bondi as an MC again, sales consultant, with the intention, like I was doing my course and everything, and I thought this is where I want to start. But then sales being sales, I love that. I had the best team ever there with a few of the boys, and then COVID hit, and that was my opportunity. Okay, let's start a business. During a pandemic, like, let's run this shit.
Yeah.
And then it's been insane.
Yeah, so Mikey and I met, September last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we just clicked. Like, I've probably never become friends with someone so quickly as much as I did with Mike. Like, when you see someone every single day, you're up at 5:30 in the morning, and then you're leaving the gym at 7 o'clock at night together. There's just some sort of bond that forms there, and you can't really explain it because we're both going through the same stresses. Like, we both just started PT, so for those that don't know, I'll go into a little bit of like how I started PT. So if those of you who've listened to like Off the Cuff podcast, I go into a little bit more about how I started. So I'll cover it anyway. So I started off, basically I was doing martial arts for like 5 years, and I was training for a long period of time, and I was trying to compete. And long story short, like I moved to Thailand for about 4 months, and I went there and I went into something that what I thought was going to be wasn't. It was just, I went there and I was expecting something, and it just wasn't what I expected. It was a lot of hard work, and had a lot of reflection, and I was like fucking 18, man. Like, I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I did that, and I lived there for a bit, and I trained, and I didn't know what I was going to do. Once I like realized that this is not what I wanted to do, I was like, well, fuck. I started to have to plan and plot to what I was going to do next. And PT was like, or coaching was something that I wanted to do, because I was an instructor at the time as well. When I was in Sydney, I was teaching Taekwondo, martial arts, all that sort of stuff. So I had some experience coaching, and I was like, okay, maybe I could just be an instructor. But like, I didn't see much like that going anywhere. So then I was like, you know what, I'm just going to blindly go into this. I didn't really have an idea of what I was going to do. And then I came back, I started doing my PT course, and I got a job at Crunch in Caringbah. And I was doing reception jobs.
Crunch.
Yeah.
Fucking Crunch.
It's definitely.
Were you an iPad as well?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you were
legit.
an iPad as well.
100%. I spent more time floating than I did anything else there.
So
but
nothing's changed.
Says the best looking guy here. But like, you know, like I had no idea what I was doing. I was just like, I was fucking around. Like I go out on the weekend.
Yeah.
And I was a receptionist. I was earning average money. I'm living at home.
But you're only 20, like.
Yeah, and like I had no idea what I wanted to do really, essentially. And then like I got into CrossFit for a little bit, and that was fun. And then like I started to do my certs. I actually started doing them, and then from there, like I was like, okay, fuck, this is really cool. And at the time, like I was very much influenced by the pioneers in fitness at the moment. Your James Smiths, your all those people,
Definitely.
And so from there I applied at. I was doing my course, and the person at Sylvania Fitness First was actually like, you know, you're good, like come work at Fitness First. And then I was like, all right. So I started as an MC as well, like Mike, so sales consultant. And it's
the way up.
It's fucking hard work, but like it's like for me personally, like, you know, I was not a natural salesman. I'm not a good like talker. I'm not like
I was always the same.
Yeah.
I literally almost got fired 3 times in my first 3 months.
Yeah, exactly.
And I started at Maroubra because I was so shy.
Yeah.
That they were like, "Are you sure you want to be a salesperson?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Can you speak to people or no?"
Of course, like sales is hard, man. Like I don't care what anyone says. Like when
yeah.
you're, especially if you know, like as we said at the start, like the shit's expensive. Like you know, when you're speaking to someone and you're like telling them, hey, like you should buy this because you need this, and then obviously you're taught sales tricks and processes of connecting the emotional attachment to their goal, to why they should get a membership, and it's like, fuck, what am I doing? Like, you know, and then you sort of realize like, okay, well, this is like where I need to do to get where I want to go.
Yeah.
And, you know, as long as if they're in the gym, then, you know, you're still selling a product that can be used properly because, you know, they're going to try better themselves while they're here. But anyway, so I did that for a bit, and then I started working with, I started getting a new coach and a new PT, and I started working with Harry, who works with us in Bondi, is now a close friend of ours. And
the one I'm looking over there.
and it's also Mikey's boss, so Mikey works.
Had to speak really, really good of him. So
he's
amazing.
He's alright.
He's the best.
Yeah,
he loves me.
He would do anything for Mike. So yeah, and I was talking to Harry, and Harry's like definitely knows his stuff, and he obviously helped me along the way, and you know got me like he got me the job at Bondi, and then we started there together, and it's been a crazy journey since. Like, you know, what's it been? September, we're in February now, so what, 6 months almost?
It's crazy because I remember I seen you on the gym floor, and I was like, oh, so you starting at Bondi next week or what? Like, just as a joke. And you're like, I actually do, on the 12th. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, sweet.
Yeah. So I was just training with Harry at the time, and we were just like, I was just a client, and then, you know, like, I obviously knew who you were, and you knew who I was just through social media.
Jackson wasn't always this jacked, by the way. He used to be a really skinny 12-year-old boy.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to hit puberty. So. But yeah, so now here we are. So as I said, you know, the goal of this podcast is to just, you know, have a good time and
have a laugh.
Yeah,
have a beer.
Have a beer, as Mikey is now. And we want to, like, I guess, like, get through to people, like, you know, what goes on in our life, as well as like, you know, where do people go wrong in the gym, and you know, like what's things that we see every day that we feel like people are missing out on. And because at the end of the day, like one thing that you know, both Mike and I both know, like when we're on the gym floor, people don't want to fucking listen to us. Like the personal trainer sometimes puts a massive red flag on us. They're like, you're trying to sell something.
Yeah.
It's like you're trying to get us as a client, which we are.
Definitely.
Like 100%, not gonna lie about that. But we also just want to go in with the intention of trying to help people.
Yeah.
And we find that if we're gonna put out some content and some ideas that we, you know, like believe in, think and work through our experiences and through our clients, and you know, also we can take you on the journey of us trying to progress as coaches, you know, we feel like that's going to alleviate some of the stress, or not the stress, but the goal that we have in mind of wanting to just educate people and get them realizing, because it's every day we're on the gym floor, we're like, hey, do you mind if we just show you something, tell you something? And
it's crazy as well, because we constantly are getting the whole like, I seen this on YouTube and like that doesn't sound right because I seen this online. Like we're still weeding through the bullshit. Like that's why we speak a lot about like James Smith, for example. There's so much bullshit out there that we're like, you know what? Let's cut back, like get back to the real shit.
Yeah, and we know our stuff to a certain degree. Obviously, we still have a lot to learn, but like the things that we do on a daily basis, or that we practice, or that we just think is something normal to us, we have definitely been realized that that's not the case. Like when someone, like to us, ketogenic is something that's just like, well, why the fuck would you do that? Or like,
I love when someone asks, so what do you think of keto? I'm like, how do I say this without sounding like a fucking idiot?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to put it down, but just don't. Yeah, let's not get into it.
Yeah, and to us, it's just like, you know, like we're not against it, but it's also something that we just know from experience isn't sustainable. And we know that something like counting calories, like how many clients have you had that was like, what's counting calories? And to us, it's so simple.
Oh, all of them.
Yeah.
Like, what's calories? What's MyFitnessPal?
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, like those sort of things are important because, you know, something as simple as counting your calories, you know, like it's nothing crazy. It's just you're eating to what your body
we get all the time. I get like, oh, I hear counting calories is so bad for your mental health, and you're like, well, and if you let it control you, yeah, you can, but
yeah, but you know what's also bad for your mental health? Being overweight.
Yeah.
And like like it is like, you know, like you're trying to tell me that counting calories is bad for your mental health, but you're in the gym doing 3 hours of cardio a day because you hate the sight of yourself in the mirror. You know, like tell me what the difference is there. Like, you know, like the goal that we're trying to get here is that we're not preaching anything that is like scientifically like breakthroughs or anything like that. This is just shit that we've learned that's very basic, that we think we could provide some sort of value to our listeners. And you know, and I think it would just help people's daily life. You know, even if you take one thing away from this podcast a day, or even if it makes you laugh throughout the day, then we feel like we've had some sort of impact on you, or on our audience, and we're doing what we want to do, you know. But yeah, like, you know, let us know what you guys think with all this sort of stuff as well. We're open to like any sort of, you know, like criticism. You know, we're just starting out. This is like very much still like a demo thing, and we just want to just see, you know, how things go. But
definitely stepping outside our comfort zone here.
Yeah.
Which is definitely one of my goals that I had this year. Like, you know, I've done a whole bunch of different things this year already, but it was just the underlying thing was step outside your comfort zone. I can do a lot of training now for like the mental barriers rather than the physical barriers. Obviously, you know, like one of the things I started this year was trying to do that triathlon.
Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, Mikey, last weekend?
Yeah, last weekend.
Did his first triathlon. Now, when I started with Mike was very much a power CrossFitter type of guy. Like, he had no idea what he was doing. Like, he knew how to train, but like he didn't know what he was. His goal.
Before the gym closed down in COVID last year, all I would do is 4 sets, 10 reps, bodybuilding. Yes, fucking, let's do chest. Like, I was doing a bit of strength training, but that's all I knew. And then the gym's closed down, and I had a barbell with 50 kilos worth of weights, 2 sets of dumbbells, and a medicine ball. And I thought, you know what? I can't get big, I can't get strong, I fucking might as well get fit. All right. My girlfriend's a CrossFitter as well, so I thought, give me some workouts. And then I just used my little patio area to do some CrossFit workouts. I'm not going to say I'm a CrossFitter, definitely. You would know that. But just the conditioning side of things. And I felt I got really fit. And one of the challenges was like, okay, there's a sprint triathlon in last weekend, obviously, and I signed up just before Christmas, and I thought, fuck, let's see if I can maintain the strength I have, and then put myself through this physical endurance as well. Now, it went pretty well, I would say. Yeah, I definitely hit my numbers this week, so I just jumped back into the gym. Only took 2 weeks off the weights, granted.
Yeah.
A lot of people, every time I said I'm doing a triathlon, but aren't you doing like heavy deadlifts and heavy squats? And I'm like, well, why can't I do both? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I got so much negativity towards that. Like, you're working against one another. Like, what are you doing? So I kind of wanted to prove myself, not anyone else wrong, but myself wrong, really.
Yeah.
Like, what can you put your own body through?
Yeah,
before
of
it wants to
course.
start
And
giving
Mikey
up?
started reading David Goggins as well.
Yeah, that was a huge motivator for me as well. I was like, I honestly ran a total of 1 kilometer before I even started any conditioning. Like, I never did more than a 1K run before this year. I jumped in the pool like I was gassed by 50 meters. So I thought, fuck, I'm in big trouble here if I don't actually get my ass beat. You know what I mean? Like, so.
But Mikey's you're a good testament to you don't need to be a fucking athlete. We're different because we're the type of people that we want to just challenge ourselves, because otherwise we find our training boring. That's not everyone's goal, and that's what also something
very true.
we want to get across here, is that just because for example, myself, I do powerlifting, but it doesn't mean that my clients all need to be powerlifters. Yeah, I'll take some principles from that because I believe they work. But and Mikey's the same thing. Like, your clients don't do triathlons. Your clients don't even run. Mikey's training is just what he enjoys, and that's something that's important here, and a message you can take away from it is that
definitely.
If something's going to keep you adherent, which it has, Mikey both likes to squat and to train heavy, and also likes to run. Now, I'm pretty sure, you can correct me if I'm wrong, if you didn't do that heavy training, you probably wouldn't have gone as hard with your triathlon training.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so, if that's what's going to keep you adherent to your goal, then why the fuck not?
Yeah.
Who cares what anyone else thinks about, you saying that, it's like you're counteracting each other. Yeah, well, you know what? Actual CrossFitters fucking snatch 120 and then go for a fucking
Exactly the
hike.
same thing, yeah.
Exactly, and you've periodized your training properly, and this is the perk of being a coach and a PT, is that the differences and the recovery that you needed and stuff like that. And Mike fucking killed Mike was also had to be the largest person doing a triathlon.
Oh gosh. I literally had people running behind me saying, you go ahead, you break for the wind so I can stick behind you. I'm like, oh, fuck, okay.
Yeah, and I saw fucking videos of his big anus and fucking his ass fucking jiggling while he's fucking running, because he did all the heavy squatting he did leading up to that. So also for those that don't know, so you did the triathlon, and then on Monday we trained together.
Yeah, we did a heavy squat session.
Yeah, so I've been doing powerlifting training, and I'm actually going to look to compete in the next probably 6 weeks. So I've been training relatively heavy. I've been starting to peak numbers a little bit, so I'm getting quite heavy, and I'm doing quite a bit of volume at the same time for the numbers that I'm hitting. And I was doing a 145 squat, 5x5, I'm pretty sure.
Heavy numbers.
Yeah, average. And then and then Mikey's like, I'm going to do 160. I'm like, you just did a triathlon. He's like, yeah, but I want to do 160. So we're training, and then he's warming up, and I'm like, what the fuck? This guy's going to actually squat 160. And yeah, so Mike squatted 160 for how many reps?
Just two. But in saying that, my 1 rep max is 180, so I'm pretty fucking happy with that.
Yeah, so you're very much at sub maximal numbers, and you're still hitting it relatively easy after doing very little, strength training, and coming in after a triathlon and still pumping those numbers. That's fucking impressive. Mike's a fucking athlete. I trained with him yesterday, right? And we're doing bench, and I'm
don't listen to this,
and I'm
guys.
proper
Don't listen to
fucking
this.
trying to hit big volume numbers. I was trying to do not big, but
it's big.
95 kilos on the bench for a low intensity, high volume day, and I'm doing 95 for fucking. How many did I do? 8, 3x8, and he just comes in and does it as well, and he's barely even strength trained. It's fucking annoying.
Jackson actually hates me. That's why we don't train together too often now.
We don't train that much anymore because I just get pissed off that he's fucking equally as strong. We did the deadlift seminar, and we did a deadlift seminar a couple months back, maybe a month in January.
Yeah.
And my 1RM was 200, and he just hasn't even been strength training, comes in and does 210.
Yeah, that was actually pretty interesting. I was like, I don't think I picked up a bar doing deadlifts for about 6 weeks before that. And that was the seminar was actually 2 weeks after I started doing all this running, swimming and cycling. And I was like, it was just the atmosphere. It wasn't me. I didn't do that.
The atmosphere that day was definitely good. Definitely like I felt like I could have done 220 that day. I was like, nah, like.
If you've seen that lift though, that lift took me 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, it was probably like.
There was a lot of twerking going on.
Yeah, jackhammering. Like I reckon the time it took him to run the marathon or the triathlon was the time it took him to deadlift. That.
Identical times.
But yeah, so I guess like from that like. I'll go into a little bit of my training. So, as I mentioned before, I'm going to try and do like a little powerlifting comp. I say little because it's nothing like legit. Like, there's going to be some serious, like, I guess people there who are judging, and the people I'm surrounding myself with at the moment are very much serious competitors and bodybuilders and stuff like that.
Well, you're coaching everyone as well.
Yeah. So, my training I was working with Harry for a while, and then he obviously he helped me like put on like heaps of muscle mass.
Oh yeah.
Like I was eating crazy amounts of fucking food, and obviously that the old saying, if you want to get big, you got to eat big. So I was definitely eating big.
Just scroll backwards through your Instagram a bit, and you'll see like 15-year-old boy, 16-year-old boy. Oh shit, he's big.
So
where did this come from?
So Mikey, every day, like I have a fucking gut on me, and he goes, "Oh, look at your powerlifting belly."
Jack's just sitting on the dumbbell rack with his little powerlifting belly out. Going, 3 more reps.
So yeah, that has been me putting on size. But yeah, no, I've gotten relatively stronger in the past probably the last year or so. So I'm gonna try and really test that. And I'm working with great people. Like the people. My coach is Paul. Anxiety is the bodybuilding physio. So like he's really helping me a lot with my strength, and just surrounding yourself with those sort of people definitely helps your training.
Definitely.
Mikey has also surrounded himself with other triathletes and stuff like that, and it's become more of a social thing too as well. And even myself, I've surrounded myself with those sort of people, and now these people become my friends.
Yeah.
And that's something that we also like want everyone to realize is that you getting in the gym for your physique goals and wanting to lose weight and feel better about yourself. Not only that, like you meet people, you become part of a community. Like we don't do this because we're trying to like make money or anything like that. We genuinely enjoy it. Like we know that if we don't train on a day, or we're not like having a good session, like it can physically affect our day.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like if Mikey's not hitting numbers or hitting times or running or swimming at a certain pace that he wants to, like you get pissed off.
It literally feels like you're taking a massive step backwards. Like
yeah,
it just takes a huge wind out of your day, and then you come in after lunch and you're like, fuck no, like this sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you got to reset and be like, you know what, tomorrow's another day, let's get back into it.
Of course. And even me, like I remember like lately I've just been having really good training sessions. Obviously, like having those good people around you definitely motivates you. And like I come in after like training, and I'm going back into the gym to finish my afternoon with sessions, and I feel fucking $1 million. Like you deliver better sessions, and it impacts your life. Like physical activity and exercise is more than just the instant gratification. There's delayed gratification to it. You overall feel better about the rest of your day. You feel like you're able to conquer things because when you're in the gym, you're physically and mentally challenging yourself. And I know Mike was inspired by David Goggin, and for those of you who don't know who he is, he's a ultra marathon,
ultra fucking fucked run.
He just likes to run till
100-kilometer trail runs up mountains and shit.
Yeah, so
till his legs fall off.
Exactly, and he something he preaches is like just pushing yourself mentally, because like when you feel like you push yourself to a certain degree, you feel like you can conquer anything.
Yeah.
And that's like the beauty of what we do. Like we get to see people every single day in a session. We're the people that literally get to be like, okay, well, we're the reason that you push yourself today.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
It's fucking insane.
Like, I don't know, give me a time when, you had a client that has just like, like I know I have, like I've had clients come in having a bad day. You put them through a session and they're just like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Like, I needed that.
It's almost like with their physical shrinks. You know what I mean? Like they come in, they've had a shit day. Like they look at the bar, there's 60 kilos on the bar. There's like, no way, Mike, I'm not going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Just trust yourself, they get it done, they leave and they're like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah.
I was never going to do that without you. We get that actually quite often, you know what I mean? Like,
of course.
No way I would have been able to do that without you. Which definitely they could have.
Oh, 100%.
They just need that little bit of motivation.
Yeah, like I think and that's the difference between a PT and a coach, because a PT is someone that's going to put weight on the bar and being like, all right, cool, give me 3 reps, and just like, like they're like, okay, well, what do I do? Like we're very attention to detail.
Yeah.
We want people to really like take notice of what we do, and that we're just like, we're not there just to watch you do, you like your client that you had the other day while I was sitting in, like she's this strong girl, and she deadlifts, it's not deadlift, she squatted 70 kilos.
Yeah, like 70 for 3x3, like.
And before that, there was
She's like 50 kilos, by the way.
Yeah, and Mike was pep talking her, and and was like telling her, you need to focus on this and this and this, and then she leaves that session and she's like, I just fucking squatted 70 kilos, like that's a big deal.
It's insane.
It is. It's cool. Like I've got a client that has probably been my first client, and now I'm training her for a wedding, which again, the difference in what people's goals are not the same. She's training for her wedding.
Yeah.
And she just wants to feel better and have a good lifestyle. I'm training for a comp, you're training, but again, it's a different goals there, and that doesn't mean mine is more important or yours is more important than
Yeah,
her.
Definitely.
And you've seen her physical change, like who I'm talking about. And she was deadlifting next to us.
Yes.
So like she's just like, she had no mobility, she had no coordination, and like now she comes in and she's like, I want to deadlift today. Like just that attitude right there is huge. Like when someone comes in and they're like, I want to do this, you're like, you clearly want to do it. Like you're telling me that firstly, like you have enthusiasm in your face. You're coming into the session like already thinking about the numbers you want to hit and the technique, and then like it just becomes almost something that they're passionate about just as much as you. And something that we also try to do along the way is educate. I'd say this whenever I get a new client. I'm like, you may be able to train on your own after this and may not need me, and awesome, all right, but you're going to stay with me because you want to have me there. And the education is going to be there, because along the way we teach them, why do we bring our shoulder blades back and down in a squat? Well, it keeps you more upright. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. And it's just simple stuff like that.
Little things like that. Exactly right. And going back to what you said earlier, like that, my female client that was squatting the other day, the first thing she says to me, she comes in, she's like, I've had a shit weekend, and things are going on in my personal life, but you know what? I'm gonna fucking kill it today.
Yeah,
I'm doing 70 kilos. We're doing 75 100%. Kilos. And you look at it and you're like, that's inspiring. Let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah, and you put a mindset into these people day by day, every single day. Even like they come in and one day they're shy, and then the next day they're like coming up, sitting with their chest high, and then that makes a big difference in how they carry themselves throughout the day and how they can attack other things. Because I know, and that we've had sessions and walked out and just been like, we can fucking do anything.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
It's just like there's that motivation, there's that endorphins, and it's just like the way that we see training is more than just like coming into the gym because we want to look or feel better. Like we do, but we come in because it fucking makes us happy.
Oh man. Exactly right. Going to that motivation thing as well. Like that's one thing we get asked all the time. Like, how do you stay so motivated? For me personally, like going back to when I started this fitness training, it's just every session I just got better and better and better. So when you like last week I could only do a 100-meter swim. This week you go in, you do 200 meters, and you're like, fuck, that's insane. That's so addictive. It gets to become like an addiction, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's where that motivation
it's almost like a drug. Like it becomes something that you crave. Like that literally. Feeling. Like
week to week, you see these results. Week to week, you see physical changes, and you're like, when people ask like, how do you stay motivated? You'd be like, every single week I'm doing something that I've never done before.
Yeah, and you enjoy it. As well. Like,
and that actually puts you on such a high.
100%. Like. For even like adding to that, like myself, like I make a joke about my gut and my belly, and like I don't give a fuck that I don't have a 6-pack or anything like that, because every week I'm coming in and they're like, how do you stay motivated? Same question. It's like, well, you know what? I do the fucking thing that needs to be done. I put the work in, because like someone asked me like, oh, like how do you track calories? And I'm like, I'll show you my fucking streak on MyFitnessPal. It's like 450
it's
days.
ridiculous.
Like I just, it's just a habit now.
It's literally like a religion to you.
Yeah, it's just and it's just second nature, and you can call it mentally obsessive or like over obsessive or whatever, but like I don't give a fuck about how I look sometimes. Like at the end of the day, I put on some muscle and I'm stronger and I'm happy with the way that I look. Like I'll happily put on a pair of fucking budgie smugglers on the beach
Yeah.
and just walk around like I don't give a fuck, because I know that the work that I put in reflects that, you know. And you don't need to look like some sort of bodybuilder to
Exactly right.
to live your life, you know.
And that's where my whole like the whole mental thing comes into play with me. Like, yeah, I could be eating fucking just vegetables and chicken every day, but you've seen how I eat. Like, if I can maintain a cronut every day, I will.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but then like a lot of people look at me and think, you know, look, I'm not like, gloating in any way, but they look at me and say, how the fuck do you eat like that and still look like that? Well, that just goes back to the whole, you know, energy in versus energy out. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, overall calories burn. I'm burning a lot of fucking calories. So when I have a Corona, it's like a Corona. Sorry, it's like
I mean,
or a Corona. It just like it doesn't really make a difference.
well, of course, like your 95% of your diet, like is gonna be somewhat like calculated, you know. Like when you like, you know, even myself, like some days I won't track the whole day, but then I'll put it in at the end of the day, and I'll be like roughly. So I'm like almost on the fucking ball.
Yeah.
Because we've done it for so long, we roughly have an idea.
It's literally second nature now.
Yeah, exactly. We can eyeball like a piece of chicken and be like, oh, that's roughly like 160 grams, 150 grams of chicken. And it's like, well, you know that because you've done it for so long.
Yeah.
You know, so when Mikey's like eating a fucking cronut or he's going to eat KFC or whatever, it's because like he knows that it probably fits to some degree of what he's eating, and he knows that he could probably eat something more nutritious, but if it's going to keep him adherent to the goal, then who gives a fuck, you know? Like, why would you like restrict yourself with that sort of stuff when you know it's gonna give you some sort of like
Exactly right.
happiness to it, you know?
Like I went when I was training with Harry, for example. Like we put us in a massive deficit when I was trying to cut weight. I think I was like 91 or 93 or something when I started. I got down to 96, but I was determined.
Wait, you got
sorry, 86.
86, yeah.
I was determined to make sure I had chocolate every single day. I was like, I'm gonna lose fat while eating chocolate bars.
Yeah,
and I put everything into MyFitnessPal. And granted, I was starving 24/7, and I was a moody prick, but I did it.
That's something that I guess no one really understands in our day-to-day job as well. Is that like we obviously everyone comes to us and they're like, I want to lose weight. It is fucking hard. I don't care what anyone says. It is fucking hard. Like being in a deficit or a calorie deficit is fucking hard. Like this is what people don't understand. You are strategically starving yourself.
He's fired up now, guys. He's fired up now.
You are strategically starving yourself. Like you are. You're eating less food, so your body has to take energy from somewhere else and burn it.
Literally.
AKA being fat. You know? So like I have clients who are dieting at the moment, and they're like, you know, I've restricted their calories, and they're like, oh, I'm so moody, I'm so cloudy, like in my head, and I'm like, I fucking told you this when you started. Like, you know what I mean? Like you knew what you got yourself into, you know? Like this is why like a big goal of mine is like, you know, sometimes focusing on a performance. You know, like Mike and I look the way we do because of how we train and our performance, and our goals are not so much physique based, they're more performance based.
Definitely.
And by having a performance goal and eating for performance, the byproduct of your physique usually comes out pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
You know, like again, we will refer back to, you know, a CrossFitter or something like that, and you know, like bodybuilders look insane, but you know, how healthy are they really?
Exactly right.
You know, so we want like someone to have a healthy lifestyle. And you know what? At the end of the day, anyone that comes to us, 9 times out of the 10, they only want to look good for like, you know, a wedding or the beach or some summer or anything like that. And that's totally fine. But then don't like put yourself through such terrible starving and deficits and stuff like that just to look a certain way. Like fall in love with training first.
Yeah.
Then think about dieting. Fall in love with having a performance goal, and it happens all the time. I see clients, and you could say yourself, like, you know, that girl that you train who squatted 70, like, I'm sure her initial goal was to come to you and, you know, look a certain way, but now she's like, fuck, I just want to get stronger.
Yeah.
And then they usually start looking good anyway.
They just start to love their training so much that like, my body's changing on its own anyway through doing this strength training
100%.
and like bodybuilding training. So why not just maintain that? Like that's one of my biggest things was that's I preach this all the time. Like, wouldn't you rather be happy with what you see and what you feel rather than, you know, a number on the scale? Like, you know what I mean? So,
100%.
Like, do you want to be able to walk up? It's very cliche, but walk up that flight of stairs without getting puffed out? Like that's shit that I preach. You might not have a six pack, but you might fucking feel happy.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, I can comfortably go and have takeaway on the weekend, come back Monday morning, no, I'm just going to smash out my week of training. Like,
definitely. Yeah, it's crazy to just like, and this is again, this is something that is so simple to us, but it's
yes,
it's
exactly.
it's not there. It's not like in the gym that we're in, especially being Bondi fucking Beach and Bondi Junction, Like we have the most stereotypical fucking gym in the world. Like the people you come in and you just be like, well, like, how many followers do you need to train here? Because everyone here
literally
has some sort of, influence or something like that. Or like, and then, yeah, a lot of them look fucking great. Yeah, they do. There's like some very fucking good looking people at our gym,
Back to my my sales days at Bondi, literally you would have to show someone around the gym. The second you open that balcony door, it's, do you mind if I take a quick Instagram of this? Like, I've seen this on Instagram myself. And then it's just like, just that stereotypical, oh my God, we're on Bondi, like, Fitness First balcony. Yeah. There's the whole that whole social media vibe behind that too.
Yeah, exactly, and that leaves open a lot of mental health, a lot of like self-esteem, a lot of that.
I mean, how many times have you had like clients or members just say like, how intimidating is it to train here?
Of course, like for us, it's like we're there every day, so we walk in and like it's normal for us. We obviously are comfortable in that environment now. But I remember my fucking first day.
I was so intimidated.
I was terrified. Like, and
this sucks.
Yeah,
this gym is just so fucking full on.
Yeah, it's scary. You got you got people from reality TV shows like fucking Maths and fucking all that sort of shit who train there, and you got fucking people who like are on like a commercial. You got like some sort of like sponsored person or
some influencer, fitness model.
Like how many people we've seen, like the Lauren Simpsons come in, we've seen like, and some of them train there on a daily basis. Like, they're people who...
Just normal people, but...
Yeah, they're normal people and they train, but like obviously someone new coming into the gym that can find very intimidating. Not to say that they are intimidating people, but just the look and the way that they look can be intimidating in itself.
100%.
And like that also makes our job sometimes harder because we have to try and preach something to them that, like they're the 1%ers,
Yeah.
They dedicate their life to this. They look the way they look for their job.
Yeah.
You don't need to do that. Like, that's the difference.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, and we're PTs and we don't look like that. Like I walk around the gym with my fucking stomach out and I don't give a fuck, because at the end of the day, like, my goal is different to whatever the influencer next to me is trying to do, and I probably know more than them.
if you don't say so yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I've put time and effort into my craft and studying and learning from the best people so I can get the results that I want for my clients, and this is what I've come up with that I think works.
Well, it actually does. Like, you've got the proven results to back it up. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. The
amount of times you go up to someone on a gym floor that's like deadlifting with a rounded back, and you're like, no, I've seen this on YouTube. So,
of course,
so many misinformed members in there. So even the influencers definitely misinformed.
Yeah, exactly. And getting results. As Mikey said, like, we get results, and getting results isn't just having a good before and after. Like, it's improvement on overall lifestyle, movement. If someone, like, as in my client who came to me with no mobility, none of that, like, now she can move, that's results. Like, to me, that's more impressive. If you're learning how to move your body and learning how to, like, actually, like, live, like, a squat, a push, a pull, and a hinge is something we do in every single day life. If you can perfect those movements under load, then you're fucking killing life.
Yeah.
And that's what I find important. And yeah, like, it was hard for us as well, starting out as PTs. Like, as we said, our first day was fucking terrifying. Something going up to people and telling them they're not doing something correctly.
Especially as a guy, it's such an ego thing. Like,
oh my God.
You have to approach so softly. Like, I give Jackson shit for this all the time, but he's got such a soft approach, and I'm like,
it's the stomach and
he comes up with this big, huge grin, and I was like, if I was that guy, I wouldn't have an ego already. I was like, look at this big fucking teddy bear coming up to me. But I feel like when I approach, it's like, I'm like literally.
It's like because they're falling in love with you, because they look at your eyes and they're like, look at this beautiful man approaching me.
I'm like, can I please help you out with that? It's not great. What am I doing wrong? I'm like, it's going to hurt your back a little bit, just a tiny bit. So there's that ego battle as well.
Yeah, because we go in again with the intention of just trying to help someone. Like, fuck, I remember one time. It was probably like one of my worst days I had.
Yeah, I think I already remember this. Go on.
Like, this guy's squatting and like, It's just atrocious. And like I wanted to help the bloke out genuinely, but I could tell, like, you know, you read someone's vibe and you can
Instantly,
tell.
I get that every single time.
You just feel that they're a fuckwit. You just
Fuck
realize,
off, written across their
they're a
face.
fucking prick. And then he was doing like his green stretches because that's totally gonna help your score. And like, you know, like I came in soft approach and I said, hey mate, look, do you mind if I just give you my 2 cents on this squat? And he's like, yeah, all right. And then like very short. And like just that alone, like anyone else would think, okay, well this guy really doesn't want to hear it. So I'm not gonna spend too much time on him anyway. I'm just gonna give him my opinion and fuck off. So anyway, I told him, yeah, look, like you want to do this, like elevate your heels maybe, or get you a bit more upright in your squat. You'll probably get a bit deeper. And then anyway, I walked away. Then 5 minutes later, this bloke comes up to me and he goes, why the fuck did you embarrass me in front of everyone? And I'm like, hold on a minute, what? And he's like, yeah, you embarrassed me in front of everyone. I was like, no, I was trying to help you because your squat, like, you looked like you were going to hurt yourself. And he goes, yeah, well, I actually have scoliosis and I can't squat like properly because I have a back issue. And in my head, I'm like, oh, you're a fucking idiot. But like, you know, like our job isn't fucking like easy all the time. You know, we got to deal with those sort of people. And again, being fucking Bondi, everyone has some sort of fucking chip on their shoulder or thinks they know something. And we're not just shitting on Bondi. Like it can happen at anywhere. Like, you know what I mean? And I've definitely dealt with it at other gyms as well. But, you know, just, you know, your demographic is going to impact the type of people you're going to get. And that's just the way it is. People there have more money as well. They have like more influence and that sort of stuff. That more prevalent in that area. And, you know, yeah, just like you deal with that shit on a daily basis. Like you're gonna get shut down. You're gonna fucking struggle. Like it's not easy. Like, you know, and that's something we have to learn as a sailor, as an MC, because you fucking deal with that on a daily basis.
Rejection is literally like second nature to me now. It's like, do you reckon we could, you know, did you want to do this or no? Like, okay, all right, fine.
Yeah, and
now
on to the
next. It doesn't even literally phase you one bit anymore. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's like you kind of expect it more often than not these days because, like, you know, and it's because we try to provide value as much as we can in our sessions and when we're prospecting and trying to help people and stuff like that. But, you know, not everyone's going to see eye to eye on what you believe. Some people are just misinformed. Some people are just cunts.
Literally.
Like, yeah, exactly. It's not easy doing this job, and that's again, you know, what we're trying to get across here. Like, not only do we want to educate you guys, we want to realize that like sometimes this job is the reason we're doing this is because we can do this in the comfort of this studio and be freely spoken, because a lot of the time we get people who are like no, and it's like, you know what, I'm open to hear your opinion and I'm open to listen, but you know, from my experience, this is what works, you know. And you know, I hope that like everyone can listen to this and realize, get a bit of an insight of what our job's like, and realize that we're just trying to help people. And just this is like us prospecting on the gym floor. We're just trying to help people. You know what I mean? That's
all we do day to day. Is just come in, try and help as many people as we can. That's literally the job, and that's like the perks of becoming of being a personal trainer. Really, like like when you bring it back to your own goals as to why you became a PT. When I look back to myself, I was this miserable guy who, like, let's not say, I'm not going to say I hated the way I looked in the mirror, but mentally I was like, I could honestly say I hated my life. I was like, I was just physically always tired. I was drained. I was just eating like shit, never had any energy. All I want to do on my time off is just sleep. And then you find this passion back for fitness, and it's like, I want to fucking like help it. This is what I want to do for other people, not just me.
And that's what we do it because we realize what it's done for us. Like, we know what training and fitness has done for me. It's gotten me through some of the toughest times of my life. You know, like when I was training, martial arts was there for me all the time. And even now, when things are tough, like, training is always there for me. It's something that's consistent, something that's constant. Yeah. And even if you're not having the best sessions in the world, sometimes just fucking getting in there and getting it done is what's important. You know, and that's, again, you know, we want to do that for other people. We want people to just find something that's some sort of consistency in their life and realize that this is something that's going to bring more joy. And it's not a chore. It's something that you enjoy doing and that you want to do.
Exactly right. I mean, I take it back to one of the guys that I train. He was like, he came to me and said, I had a personal trainer like 5 years ago, and like I lost all this weight. I lost 20 kilos, but when I got to that 20 kilos less, I still like I still didn't look like the way I was looking. I was like, okay, so what was the training like schedule looking like? What were you eating? And he went on to say all this crap like, on one day I would have this many calories, and then on the cardio days I would have more, and I was having 3 meals on one day and 6 on the next. And I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, what are you talking about? And then I was like, what kind of weights training were you doing? He's like, not much at all, really. A really introverted guy still doesn't really speak to me, to be fair.
I got a few of those.
Definitely, I don't think he likes me at all, but we've been together for a few months now. He definitely hates my guts. But yeah, and then like over the course of time, he starts coming in and he's the one starting the conversation rather than me. Every time he drops a set, he's like, there's just awkward silence. But now he's like, like I told my brother I squatted 100 kilos on the weekend. And I was like, oh, fuck, that's awesome. And then this training morale starts to come out and you see this smile on his face and it's like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. It's like, and again, to bring it back to like, that's what it's done for us, when we see that, and that's what makes us want to do the job every day, because being the reason that someone is like somewhat a bit better in their life.
Oh man, it's cool.
It's fucking so cool, man.
It's cool.
It's so cool. What's that, like 45 minutes, you reckon? Yeah. Cool. All right, well, let's wrap it up there.
Yeah? How was that?
All right, that was episode 1 of Coach Cast. So
hope you guys enjoyed it.
You guys can find us on Instagram. I'm Coach Jackson Mansoudi and Mike is...
Coach Mike Stevens.
And yeah, and if you guys like what you hear and you're interested in some sort of personal training or coaching, just hit us up online, and we're at Fitness First in Bondi Junction. So yeah, we'll speak to you guys next time. Thank you for listening to the Coach Cast.
Make sure you follow us on Instagram at CoachCast and Coach Mike Stevens.
And if you guys are interested in any sort of coaching at all, please DM us. Mine is at Coach Jackson Mansoudi. If you have any feedback, please DM us as well. We would love that.
Thank you.